Grief is an intense sorrow. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victorious Chibugo. I am finally here to talk about how my husband died. I'm not making this video because I owe anybody any explanation, but I'm only here to talk about this because I and my husband has created a lot of videos here, and I just wanted him to stay relevant even while he's not here. And maybe men will learn from my story. My husband's name is Ikechukwu Martins Okechukwu, and he was born in the year 1982. Ikechukwu died on the 16th of October 2023 at the age of 41. Before his death, we were married for 6 years and we had 3 children. And 1 out of our 3 kids is a special needs child. In case if you want to relate to my husband and everything about him, you can still go through this channel and you will see the videos we made 2 years ago. Please ignore the noise you're hearing in the background. They are building opposite me. Grief is one thing I do not even wish on anyone. And the loss of a spouse is one thing I do not even wish on my enemy. I will try as much as I can not to be emotional while telling the story. And I always tell myself that anytime I talk about my late husband and I don't cry, that means I am healing well. This wound is one wound that I know that doesn't ever heal. Rather, you navigate through it. And it happened like this. On the 14th of October, I and my late husband went out to go book a birthday cake for our daughter's 3rd birthday. And remember, and mind you, I was never an internet person, right? I lost my business in 2020. I got swindled of 16 million naira by a woman in China. And I went into depression. It was in the whole issue I was going through. It was while I was depressed that my husband advised me to start up a YouTube channel, since I love to make videos. I should just make videos and just, to ease my mind off what I was going through at that time. I started YouTube in 2020 and at some point I quit because the algorithm wasn't favorable. And 3 months before my husband passed, so after I quit YouTube, he was like, okay, why don't you try Facebook? He dragged me to Facebook 3 months before his demise, and we started up our couple content on Facebook, and our name on Facebook is Sophia and Ikechukwu. I'm going to tag it on the screen. You can as well go follow me there. Back to my story. After we went out on that 14th to go book a cake for my daughter, that fateful day, we live streamed on Facebook, and he was so gloomy, happy, and all. Then come 15th. On that 15th morning, we woke up, prayed for our daughter. He stepped out and went to pick up the birthday cake. When he got back, we prayed, we sang. I'm going to attach the clip somewhere. We prayed and we sang for my daughter. And that was it. So I told him that we should take the children out on that day, just to, spend some time outside the house, outside the home with them. But he said he wanted to go hang with his boys, and that they were already hanging out and they wanted to go join them. Like as if I knew Ikechukwu was going to die the next day, I wanted to spend that family time with him and the children, but he didn't oblige. Fast forward to 16th of October 2023, we woke up that day, we got dressed and we dropped the kids off at school. Ikechukwu drove me to the park to do Weibio. One thing about I and my husband is that Ikechukwu was literally my driver. He knew I hated driving, so he was always willing to drive me anywhere. We were always together. We had that couple relationship. We had a beautiful marriage. He was an amazing father. He was an ever-present dad, always willing to be there for his children. Not like we didn't have our couple problems, but our good times supersedes our bad times. We always find a way around our flaws and a way around our issues. So we had more of a happy and beautiful moment than our sad moments. Now, after he took me to go do the way bill, a friend of mine sent something from Australia to through her friend that came back from Australia. So the lady called me that morning and asked me to come to Ajawa Estate to pick up the items. I was like, it wasn't going to be possible that I would come in the evening because we were already headed to the bank after I did Weibu. We wanted to go and do something in the bank. So when my husband was alive, we were already doing our Canada PR because we wanted to relocate to Canada because of my special needs child. And on that Monday, we decided to go and do our approve of funds. When we got to the bank, we were trying to do what we went there to do, and they told us that the network was bad. They asked us to come back. My husband said he was hungry and that he wanted to make local jollof rice. We set out for the market. When we got to the market, he went into the market to go buy the things he was going to use and cook while I waited for him in the car. When we got home, he went into the kitchen, made the local rice. Mind you, Ikechukwu is one person who do not like to cook. But for any time he tries to cook, he knows how to praise himself and give himself an accolade. So when he brought the food for me, in his way he said, that he was praising himself that he was the baddest chef. We laughed, we ate. Like as if I still knew Ikechukwu would die that day. I played with Ikechukwu. I was so rough with him. To the extent that he went to pick up a cane to flog me. He was chasing me around the house with a cane. And in his words, he said, did he meet me under Mile 2 bridge? He called me an Agbero. That was why the day he died, I was calling his name, telling him to wake up that he's Agbero.
Ike Bobodim,
My
husband.
Somewhere.
My husband.
After
We're just playing
it was
today.
now time, so he now decided to sleep.
We're just
When it
playing
was time to pick
today.
up the kids, I woke him up.
Eh?
We went to the school.
Your Agboro is touching
picked
you.
up
Wake
and
up,
we
you know?
brought them home. Then we went back to the bank to finish up what we were
Your
what we
Agboro
went
is
to the bank to
touching
do
you.
earlier, and we succeeded.
Who will I
We
play
came back
with now?
again, he slept off. I am one person who
Wake up
doesn't
now.
keep tab of time. I am not good with keeping time. But on that 16th of October
Wake up,
2023, I kept tab of
God
time.
accept your soul.
Like I didn't know what happened that day.
None of them is speaking.
At exactly 4:50 p.m., I woke him up and I told him to get dressed. That it was time for us to go pick up the stuff from Ajawa Estate. He got dressed and we set out. People know how Lagos and the traffic can be. We got up with traffic and all those stuff, but we arrived at Ajawa Estate at exactly 7:30. We picked up the stuff and we left. On our way to Ajawa Estate, his friend called him because my husband is in a club where they play footballs Mondays and Saturday. So he usually picked up this friend on his way to go play football. So that his friend called him around that 6 o'clock, asking him where he was. He told his friend that we are going to Ajawa Estate, that he was taking his wife to Ajawa Estate, that when he comes back, he will come to the turf. We got to my house at 8:40 p.m. I will never forget. 8:45 p.m. I don't know. I will never forget that time. Upon driving into our compound, I heard him answering a call. I am coming. It happened to be that his friend called him. So he told his friend that he was coming. So when he entered the car, I was like, you are coming. How? Where are you going to? I was already feeling weak in my spirit for some reason I don't know. My spirit is weak. Body-wise, I was weak. I was not just okay. I was like, do you even have to go out? He said, they have a meeting in their club that day that he's not going to play. That has a meeting. And again, he wants to pick up supplements for myself, the children, and him and himself from one of his club members that sells supplements. I was like, you know what? It's fine. So I started playing with, we started doing alaye play just for me to get his mind off him going out. It didn't work. He proved abortive and he went upstairs. I honestly can't remember or place my hand on what he came upstairs to pick up. But when he went upstairs, I followed suit. So after he picked what he came upstairs to pick, he gave my second son was the only person awake at that time, and he gave him a peck on the cheek and he left. From this window here, I stood. I called him. I said, Ikechukwu, do you really have to go? So my husband is an outsider and I am the insider. I usually call him Jegede Shokoyo because he likes to go out a lot. So when I called him from the window and I said, Ikechukwu, do you really have to go? And he didn't answer me. I just shouted, I just clamored, Ikejukwu Jegede Shokoyo. And he drove off. When he left, I called my sister and I told my sister that I was not okay. That in my spirit, I wasn't just okay about IK's outing. And my sister was like, is today the first time IK is going out at night? Please let the young man be. I said, okay. So they brought food for me. At that particular spot where I ate, I slept off. I don't know, for some reason. I felt these chills, like 1 week. The weather was hot that period, but I started shivering and I became cold. My hands and my legs were so stiff. I just woke up immediately at exactly 11:50. When I woke up, I checked my time. I was like, how come I didn't shower and I slept off? And then the plate I used in eating was right where I slept off. Okay. I wasn't just feeling okay, I was feeling unease. I went into the shower. I had my bath, came out. I decided to say a prayer and then wait for my husband. Mind you, anytime my husband goes out, I don't sleep. I always stay awake until he comes back. They are in their club, they play football at night. So he usually comes back by 12:01. So I used to stay awake and wait for him till he comes back. For some reason, I was still not okay. At exactly 12 o'clock, I got a call from his friend. I saw Chidi. I was like, why is IK's friend calling me by 12 midnight? Is it that I can, because that his friend, all of them, they're in the same club. I was like, is it that IK does not have credit to call me? Then what happens to WhatsApp? Why is Chidi calling me? What happens to WhatsApp? Why is Chidi calling me?